morning, everybody. My name is Michael Miles. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah. And this poem is more about, well, just a little background. Around the same time last year, I lost a third or four friends that I was to lose that year. And I deal with my own little problems, just the natural pain of getting over someone you've lost, as well as feelings of guilt knowing that someone died, doing things you used to do. So, I wrote this poem for them. I had a homie who was 20, is 20, and will forever be 20. See, he's frozen in time, in a time where people my age would rather be glorified for dying or doing crimes than maybe just changing a life or just being kind. See, we want to be legends like Johnny Appleseed from bearing the fruit of a little tree, or we want to be exalted in our communities like MLK from pushing a little X, because you know what they say, by any means. But do we really know what that means? And yes, I say we, referring to these things, because when they look at you, they see me, and vice versa. So like Cursive, we're all connected, so you got to get a little act right if you're going to be representing me. I know kids like to say, you ain't my daddy. Well, somebody's got to be, because if not, you won't understand that strange dichotomy or that last word, because certain parts of America will lie to you like they lied to me. But I digress. See, I had a homie who was 20, is 20, and forever be 20. And he fell from grace and became a statistic when I wish I could have caught him in my arms and carried him with me to 21, but instead, I wasn't even there to see his body at his funeral. And yes, I get upset when talking about my brother's pain because I've learned how to feel it too. So when I get frustrated for all the people who never made it and the complications add up and make life so stressful that between the pressures of the powers that be and those pressures to succeed, I'm sorry if you don't believe me when I tell you I can't breathe. But we'll just keep on walking and keep on talking. Now I'm tired of singing the same songs. They ain't got us nothing but 40 acres and a mule they use to till the ground where they plant the seeds that grow into the trees where they bear strange fruit. See, I had a homie who was 20, is 20, and will forever be 20. And because his lifeline was cut short, he'll only live on as a pleasant memory. But I don't want to be a pleasant memory. I want to mess up. I want to make mistakes so I can learn and grow and tell my little brother what to do differently. And we can teach our unborn children how to be greater than us. I just don't want my son to have his midlife crisis when he's 10 years old. And I refuse to march, sing, and stop, and when the time comes to make a change, I fold. What I'm saying is that I'll bluff about my hand before I put it down, and I'll swan dive off a waterfall for my fellow man before I let him drown. And at this point, you might be thinking, oh no, he's going off the deep end. And I'm sorry if I end up taking up too much of your time, but when I get passionate, I tend to pen poems longer than Jordan release lines. See, I had a homie who was 20, is 20, and will forever be 20. And his mother cries at night for her baby who had a homecoming service but never come home. And we have this awkward feeling not knowing if he was an innocent victim or if his death was a result of his own dangerous decisions. Because it's so easy to mourn innocent victims. But it's so much harder to cry when everybody unreasonably doubts his innocence and sees him as the aggressor, such as that's another stressor. What I'm trying to say is, what's the point of living long enough to become a villain when you can't even die and be a hero? So I guess both in life and in death, they perceive us as zeros. So I'm going to pull a Gilbert Arenas, put their low expectations on my back, raise them up, make a couple of stacks, so even if they blackball me, they'll still be paying me right. So in a way, I guess I'm blackballing them back. See, I had a homie who was 20, is 20, or forever be 20. And I'm going to live my life 5 times as hard for myself and my 4 friends who didn't make it. And if we get upset, just know we're not going to fake it. And you know how people love to be. They're probably going to hate it. Because there's nothing scarier to them than when you're not afraid to stand. And you're full of potential with the world in your hand, and those falling live through me. So I forever hold on to their potential, you see, thanks to my homie who was 20, is 20, and will forever be 20.
Okay, I'm Arrington Mason Calloway. Quick show of hands, everybody familiar with Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
All right, has everyone seen the movie Ali?
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith? Okay, good. So the beginning part is going to make sense to you, and there's going to be a lot of boxing references throughout the poem. All right. The champ is here. The champ is here. This champ stands before you, born in '94, the fourth of 4 fighters. I was the one who came out the womb swinging. I dared that doctor to slap me on my behind. He wasn't getting no tears out of me. Then I took his white coat because I was cold. I grew up on the countryside of the capital where Washington monuments had leaves and branches. Deer roamed the streetlights. Taxis out of service. Sidewalks were suburban legend and blocks were lit only by constellations. My father was the real deal. My mother was the real deal. Holyfield, from yellow-brown Cassius Clay, she was molded into an unbreakable piece of art. She was too pretty to be beat. Tough, sometimes her words stung like a bee, but she helped me evolve into a butterfly that floated above mediocrity. She trained 4 fighters into greatness. One day, one bullet knocked my brother to the canvas. The ref started counting. 1. Why did you leave that party so late? 2. Why did you leave my life so early? 3. What does heaven look like? 4. A black man killed you. It's so hard to feel able in this world when your brother is named Cain. 5. I've never seen my dad cry before. 6. Get that news camera out my mother's face. Her once viral smile is just a little less infectious. 7. Do you remember what the shooter looked like? Because I might walk by him on the street today. Our justice system is amazing. 8. I hope I live past 24. 9. How can you fight a war in Iraq and die in your own streets? 10 years old, my face swollen and my face shrunken. I was battered and bruised, wondering why God had turned me and my family loose. Lucifer tried to whisper false truths in my ear as I sat in my corner. I was ready to throw in the towel when no vowel or consonant could compose a word to console this lost soul. But then, the bell rang and my mother retaped my hands and showed me how to really fight. She once told me that life can get a little rocky, but you cannot climb a smooth mountain. Your faith must push Mount Everest. When you get weary, you never rest. Get your hands up. Fight with right hooks that right the wrongs of society. Uppercuts that undermine their attempts to oppress you. Haymakers that silence the naysayers. Footwork so quick, quicksand couldn't swallow you. So fast they couldn't follow you on Twitter. My mama raised the winner. A 10 count couldn't count me out at 10 years old. 10 years later, I stand a man. I stand a lover. Stand a feminist. Stand an activist. Stand for something or fall for anything. I won't fall for anything. I got my hands up, ready to fight. The champ is here, and I fight for you.
How y'all doing today? All right. Okay, good. Next on Bone today, I'm more of a poet. It's kind of Afrocentric. By the way, it's like for recovery-wise, it's really about mental health and like growing from who you are in life and always want to try to be better than that. And like don't ever be too complacent and always, you know what I'm saying, want more for yourself. Really, don't ever be stuck in one spot. And that's the best. So I actually have a knock-knock joke in the poem, so when I say knock-knock, can y'all please say who's that? So you can test like this with knock-knock.
Who's that?
Alright. But with all jokes aside, in the words of men more retrospective than I, we came a long way as a culture from being whipped and chained. Too bad today's all about receiving whips and chains. Ironic it may be, but not as much as it represents being enslaved to materials like whips and chains that are shackled and chained to the stereotype that whip at us every day. I bleed for all of us, others bleed for colors. Colors that are amongst all men and women, but is unseen by the blinded souls who embody their stark difference. Damn, can I provide more inference? Do I have to spell out that with a P-R-O-B-L-E-M on our hands? The same hands that get laid on us for our colors as the government washes their hands of coats from the dirt they did with mud they hit oh so tactfully. I kid. But you know what they say. In jokes, there's always some truth to be heard. So do I have to say it again? Try to listen hard and comprehend that this violence and hate does not have an end. Like our God, we know who did begin this man-made irreverence, blasphemy, clan praise, severance of man. Perhaps it's part of a bigger plan, filled with hypocrisy inside democracy, theology. I never felt more disposable in my life than at this very moment. I complain too much about the way people never listen to me. Maybe if I say something serious enough, I can listen. We as black people are systematically being hunted down and oppressed through government policies that start through the environment to which they placed us in. Are you listening now? No? Okay, how about a joke? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The police, here to take you away from the place that you say to the settling chair as you ride away into your final days with drugs that we play, as you verbally admitted, candid, so submit yourself or get granted these bullets or get bestowed a felony that we banish you happily with.
Come on, baby.
Just a joke, right? Try living in that reality for a change. Rearrange inner workings compounded to machinations of hardwired racism. Taught to live, love, and learn sadism and perpetuate the nuance of fascism. At least it's not communism, right? Because that's more important to prevent from development in the U.S. it seems. What do you know about me when you see my color? That I'm a thug, thief, or killer? Me and my brothers were taught to judge one another, like the first glance at an unread book's front cover. I swear to my God, I swear to my mother that it can't be me sacrificing each other to the world's closing doors. It's more like a revolving door, constantly begging for patience until one, maybe two at a time, someone can step in and apply for that job that supplies the entire hood with dead ends and refutable indignations are superfluous in the arms of those who patronize the belated elation as a job well done, to welfare that supports mothers, brothers, and sons. Let me stop. You all heard this before. Apparently I have all the answers and still demand more. More reason to find solace in the life we live. Truth is that I'm tired of being told, do better in a world that don't know better than us about suffering together. Beyond every stormy cloud is sunlight, so I'm told to expect benevolent weather. Still, a stormy day is better than a drought. And a flood can amount to our people's pain as ingrained into the fibers of lies and chains. Let my poetry receive fame and nothing else. Because when we run out of things to blame, that's when we begin to blame ourselves.